You take Indian people and put them anywhere, they're just on the tops.
Survivors.
It's not about surviving, they're thriving.
Right.
Because once they find proper structures and they understand the structure, you can't stop them because there is a necessary intellect. This is a consequence of a very huge history, a cultural history that we have. Today, there are experiments to show, like for example, if you… let us say you put the smell of this flower on some food substance and keep it in front of a rat or a mouse, and when it goes and touches it, it'll get an electric shock. If you do this a few times, next 7 generations, those rats will not go towards that smell, all of them understand. This is their learning. So similarly, within the human being, a lot that was done in the past, which we call as samskara, that means intrinsic learning that we have, is still paying off. Or in other words, we're still surviving on old food. It is time that this generation gets the right stuff. But that's not happened yet, because our education systems and every system that we had has been disrupted badly in a systematic way, because we have been an occupied nation for nearly 1,000 years. Some came and just ravaged everything, others came and systematically destroyed everything. And they created an education system which was mainly towards obedience and clerical kind of work to serve Her Majesty's service. In 1947, when we got our independence, we should have seriously thought about what kind of education does India need? We must understand this. Without any infrastructure, literally without infrastructure, without any kind of education, our farmers are producing food for 1.25 billion people. This is knowledge. Why is this not knowledge, I'm asking? Why is this not knowledge? Why is this not competence? I was talking to a group of CEOs, I was just telling them, say, I'll give you 10 acres of very fertile land. You do one thing, I'll give you a couple of 2 different crops. You take out the harvest, let me see. All of your MBA, whatever. You take out a crop, let me see. It'll freak the hell out of you, I'm telling you. It's not easy. I've personally farmed. I know what it takes. It is… the more educated you are, the more difficult it becomes. Really, because it takes a very close sense of involvement with what you're doing, and from ploughing the land to the seed to taking the crop out, it is not an easy process. But our farmers are just doing it like that, as if it's just part of their life, something that they just inherited. This is a nation with over 12,000 years of agricultural history, the only land like that on the planet. In southern India, they are farming the same land for over 12,000 years. There are certain records which show this. So there is knowledge like this on various levels, but we have tried to push everything aside and reinvent the wheel. Once again we want to learn ABC and do it like this. So there is a disruption in the intrinsic learning that we have and the school learning that is coming to us. I'm saying, just read a book, however educated you may be, read a book and make one good sambar, let me see. It won't come.
That's exactly what question is,
Because we are thinking only what is written in the book, A plus B equals C is only knowledge. Why is not making a wonderful sambar knowledge? Why is not growing a crop knowledge? Why is not making a pot knowledge? We have very constipated sense of what is knowledge.
The school system.
Because this is come from elsewhere. Some Indian student in Oxford, I was just not even a month, 3 weeks ago I was speaking at the Oxford Union, in Oxford University. One of the Indian students has filed a court petition that he should be compensated for the boring classes that they're teaching in Oxford University. I was very happy. That's why I never went.
Yes, yes.
That's why I never went to the university.
Yes. That amazes me. That is why the school system, the textbook, the 6 answers to the exam, 6 questions in the exam, after studying whole year, it really amazes me. That is why I always feel, why not the internal enlightenment to the children?
See, the problem is, why we are talking about right to education is, we have, for example, I don't know the exact number all over the country, in Tamil Nadu itself, we have 9.6 million children in the government schools alone, okay, 9.6 million children. When you have such vast numbers, then you have to do something. What you do for the mass is never the best, but what to do, you have to include everybody. So, some rudimentary sense of education is happening because at least they must learn to… If you don't know this 70s and 80s, the objective was everybody should know how to write their name. The campaign was, literacy means you must know how to write your name. This is all. That is, they were trying to move them from thumb imprint to something written. It did not change life in any way, but it was a forward movement in a sense. But we must know this, when the British came around 270 to 300 years ago, there was not a single illiterate person in this country. They were amazed because there were no schoolrooms anywhere. There was no school infrastructure, but there was no illiterate, everybody could read and write.
Vidwan, everybody was…
So they wondered, how does this happen? Then they realized the system is so organic that it is simply happening from within. So the first thing they decided was, we must destroy this education system, because if you educate them like this, they will never become English. See, I'm the only Indian left in this hall. So, this system of education that we have inherited from those who occupied this nation, so we must understand this. You never take advice from your enemy, isn't it? If you have some sense, I'm saying. So, when they leave your country and go, first things to overhaul is your political system, your education system, your administrative system. These are things must be overhauled immediately because they were created for a certain purpose. For example, even today, the terminology we are using, I'm saying, the district administrators in many states, including Tamil Nadu, are referred to as collectors. In the British time, they were just tax collectors. Their only administration was to collect tax and take it back home. Even today, our administrators are called collectors. What are they supposed to collect from us? I'm saying we didn't change anything. We were just lazy, we were just happy that we have become free. But freedom is a terrible thing. If you do not understand the responsibility of being free, freedom is a terrible thing. If somebody is managing our life, it is better when we are not responsible. Only if we are truly responsible, freedom is a wonderful thing.
Wonderful. Maturity.
Otherwise, freedom is a terrible thing.
Maturity.